Welcome in to the Rock Talk Studio, where I find you that next great rock and roll book or documentary to check out. This is the podcast that reviews, previews, and most importantly, recommends to you the good stuff. I'm your host, Big Rick. Let's plug in. Bruce Springsteen said that this artist is on par as a songwriter with Bob Dylan and Neil Young. That is a hell of a way to start a documentary. And what follows in this new doc, The King of In-Between, is the story of Garland Jeffreys. It takes a look at his career over 50 years and makes a case for Springsteen's statement. Garland Jeffreys was a biracial singer-songwriter who produced music that was really hard to classify. You could call him rock, you could say R&B, jazz, reggae. He just really didn't fit into one box. And he never quite reached that next level of fame that could live up to that Springsteen statement. And this is the kind of main focus of this documentary, which was directed by his wife, Claire Jeffreys. And she asks why, and she looks at why Garland never broke through. And with a wife's touch, you get a truly thoughtful, heartwarming documentary about an underrated musician. Her use of 70s footage of New York City, specifically Greenwich Village where they lived, and she used a kind of collage presentation to give it a look and feel of the expanding New York music scene. I enjoyed that kind of retro approach. This is not a documentary with a ton of money thrown at it. It's not flashy or overproduced. It has more of a grassroots feel to it while delivering a quality with its story. A lot of home movies are used, so you get a personal look at his life, and it includes a fair amount of behind-the-scenes video of an older Jeffreys as he picks through songs and memories of his career. Garland Jeffreys explored race in his songs, and the documentary looks at how his life dictated his art. The ongoing exchange between his personal experience and his creative work is presented here by his wife's editing ebb and flow. Something that I felt really works because it reveals a close-up view of major turning points in Jeffreys' life. There's a lot of frustration in this story. His story kind of reminds me of Lucinda Williams. Williams wrote that great memoir in 2023 called Don't Tell Anybody the Secrets I Told You. And like Jeffrey, she got a lot of press, but was really hard to classify. And Jeffreys could be called a rock and roller, rhythm and blues player, an artist, a solo artist, a jazz artist, and a reggae artist. And like Lucinda, people just didn't know where to put their records in the record store's bins. And Jeffreys kind of sat outside the markers of stardom. I think it would be challenging for most people to hear others say how good you are. And the doc shows you all the moments throughout his career where he was predicted to be the next great thing. And I would think that's gotta suck to hear and wonder, what is it going to take for me to kind of get over this, whatever it is that's holding me back? This is a story in a lot of ways about what it means to succeed. It's a story about the struggles of reaching stardom or falling just short. In one of the film's really cool moments, Laurie Anderson, the musician and widow of Lou Reed, she's talking to a friend of Garland Jeffreys, and they ask her, what is success? And Laurie Anderson says, you might mean public recognition when you say success, but for many artists, it's more like, did I write something really good? Laurie Anderson is not the only cameo here. You've got Springsteen, you've got Harvey Keitel, Graham Parker, Vernon Reid, and Gene Simmons. All of them contribute to the story. The King of In-Between is a moving portrait of a musician who never got his due, and this film captures both the promise and the heartbreak of a career that almost was. It's an interesting exploration of success, and it does a really good job of making sure to explain and introduce, probably to a lot of people, the depth of Garland Jeffreys and his life as an underappreciated artist. I found it to be a really heartwarming grassroots doc about an underrated legend. 1 hour and 10 minutes is this documentary, and it's directed again by Garland Jeffreys' wife, Claire Jeffreys. Today's episode is sponsored by the Outlaw Music Festival 10th anniversary branded merchandise. That tour with Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, Wilco, Lucinda Williams, Billy String, Sheryl Crow, all those outlaws out there. And it's really cool to have them as a sponsor. And I just want to take a moment and talk to you a little bit about sponsorships on this show and what I'm trying to do here. I'll tell you right up front, I'm not going to sponsor anything that I don't truly believe in, because what I'm trying to do with sponsors is to get somebody to sponsor the show that can provide value to you, the listener. So I get publishers to come in and give away free books. I got the Outlaw Music Festival here to give away free gear, and that's coming up next. We're going to be picking the 3 winners of the Outlaw Music Fest merchandise. But that's what I'm doing with sponsorships. I want to have them come in here and offer something that I can pass along to you, something that would provide value, something that would be fun, something that we can enjoy, something that I can get behind. And I can definitely get behind the Outlaw Music Festival. As a big fan of a lot of those artists, especially if you listen to the show for a while, you know I'm a huge Dylan fan. So it's really cool to be able to have some merchandise that I get to give away. Their merchandise is great, by the way. I don't know if you've seen it. You can go on any of my social platforms, just Rock Talk Studio. You can see me kind of pimping out all the different shirts and the hoodies and stuff. So I was able to get 3 winners for the Outlaw merchandise, and I'm going to pick those 3 winners right now. All right, let's spin the wheel here, see who comes up first. Noel M. Noel M., you are the first winner of the Outlaw Music Fest merchandise. Congratulations. Number 2, Josh F. Josh F., all right, you have just won some Outlaw merchandise. And the final winner of the Outlaw merchandise 10th anniversary branded merchandise sponsorship goes to Nancy O. All right, Noel M., Josh F., Nancy O., congratulations, the 3 big winners of the Outlaw Music Festival merchandise. I'll be reaching out to you, getting your information, and we'll be sending you some really cool gear really soon. All right, coming up next week, you've heard of the Farmer's Almanac, but what about the Rock and Roll Almanac? 70 years of great moments in rock and roll history will be covered in next week's show. Hey everybody, thanks for spending some time with me today talking about this great documentary, The King of In-Between. It's in limited run, so it's going to be hard to track down, but it is worth it. Check this one out about Garland Jeffreys. All right, let's tear it down, pack it up, and head on down the road. I'll see you next time in the Rock Talk Studio.